In this video, I'm going to cover where to upload content and give a rundown of what the sellers can see if they were to look at their company directory to explain what each spot does. So this is going into November 25, following the unlocking of the all regions product and packaging spot for searching. If we go and we click content, we can see that there are several sections, and the top section is sales enablement. There are two spots tagged as sales enablement. Spot 1 is monthly sales update. That includes the monthly sales updates. So if they click into that spot, they will see the most recent monthly sales update, or MSU. They will also be able to navigate to previous MSUs. They all sit in there. Since unlocking the all regions product and packaging spot, nothing else other than the smart pages needs to be uploaded to the MSU spot. Everything should be in a different spot. The one exception I found to that in the November MSU was a product update embed slide. So if you see that, that's absolutely fine, but that is just a background asset. The second spot, which is going to become the crux and hopefully the daily go-to for our sellers of their time in HighSpot, is the sales strategy spot, which is generally called acronym-sales. So region acronym, in this case, NZ-sales or UK-sales. What they should find in here is, at the very least, a single overview page. We are working on ramping this up to a version 2 to make it even more user-friendly for sellers and surface content in it now that we've had time to test other ways. But into the regional sales strategy spot, that is where you would upload your region specific briefing or promo codes or marketing messages. Also, announcements can be in here. And you can, of course, bookmark content from other spots if you want to surface it in there. But I think, generally speaking, making it available on the front page is sufficient. But we are working, as I said, to make that more effective as a spot. Please be aware that there is sellers can only access their region's strategy spot. So the NZ sellers can see NZ-sales. And if you were to try and send a link from something in the UK-sales spot, other teams would not be able to open that. That is our last lock. And I think there are no plans to unlock that right now. There is also, just for awareness, a global sales enablement spot. I don't believe that's being utilized, but if, for example, something was being uploaded that didn't sit in any of the other spots for one reason or another, and genuinely should sit in the enablement spots and in multiple regions, it could be put into the global one and then bookmarked. But then that would lead us to the issue of not being able to share a single link with everybody. So reach out if you do face that issue. The next section is product and packaging. Now, as we know, there is an all regions product and packaging, and this is where every single product and packaging being pricing piece of content should be uploaded regardless of region. If we upload directly into all regions and then bookmark into the region specific spot, we will be able to share that content with everybody, because we have now unlocked in the background, it doesn't show on the front, but we've now unlocked in the background the all regions product and packaging spot. There will be further development on that to make it one single spot for browsing for all regions, but there's a lot of testing and page building that needs to go into that to make it a good experience. So right now we have all regions product and packaging spot, and in there you should upload any assets that are selling the product. So one pages, pitch decks, demo videos, FAQs, internal documents on how to sell, demo scripts, product playbooks should all get uploaded directly into the product and packaging spot. Essentially, if it's about the product, put it into the product and packaging spot. And as with everything, there is an exception to that. Please don't upload Xero Learn, so education content, into the product and packaging spot. We can bookmark it across so that everything sits in there if we want to, but we have got a separate education and support spot, and that is supposed to be the parent location for Xero Learn, Xero Education courses, YouTube videos that have been created from the education team. Those should all go into the education and support spot and then be bookmarked across to product and packaging. But if we want to share any piece of content that's in product and packaging, even if you're just sharing it with one region, please do use the link from the all regions global product and packaging spot. The reason being, people we're finding out do share more than we think they do. And so they're sharing things in the background and then finding that they can't access it because other teams, just like the sales enablement spot, they only have access to their regions product and packaging spot plus all regions. So if we put everything into the all regions product and packaging spot and then bookmark into the relevant regions, and we can always use the all regions link to share things internally without hitting any access walls. The next section we have is process and operations. We've got a sales motion spot there. So that's where we house our sales motion content, any sales motion specific playbooks or assets, or we have got some content in there. So if it was identified as being useful for a sales motion, but wasn't product specific, it sits in that spot. That is still sitting at the version 1, and there will be more development on that in the future. The sales operations, tech and processes spot is where anything you need to learn to do your job should sit outside of sales motions. So in there, essentially, if it's a job aid, it should sit in there. If it's telling you about how to use the Salesforce or Gong, or telling you how to use HighSpot, or telling you how to do a process or something from the sales operations team, that is the spot. Product and packaging is probably the biggest spot we have. It houses the most of the selling assets they need, but the sales operations, tech and processes spot is the one that houses all of the GMT guidance. What does the GMT team actually provide? It outlines the Salesforce processes, and that is all in there. It's got the tech hub now as well. We then have another section for marketing and corporate messaging. You're less likely to need to upload directly into these. Well, specifically case studies, does what it says on the tin. Even if it's a case study about a product, do try and upload it into case studies first and bookmark across, but don't worry if not. We also have marketing and messaging. That is supposed to be all non-product marketing content. So if there's something the sellers want to share with their partners from marketing, maybe the know your numbers, that's not product specific, but that can go in marketing and messaging so they can share it out still. We then have the event spot. With the XeroCon in Brisbane this year, and also the road shows, this has been a really high traffic spot. So this is where you would put any information. Every big global event or big region event should have its own page, and this is where you would upload any briefing documents on the events, any how to sell the value prop, how to sell and get partners to want to attend the event, any follow-up resources for the events. They should generally sit in here. Then we have the last two sections. We've got partner experience. I've mentioned education and support, so that's where you'll put Xero Learn, or Xero Central articles or courses. And then we have the partner program spot. Again, with the partner program changes, this is may expect to become a high traffic section or spot, and this is any details or any assets that support talking to or selling the partner program would sit in there. And then lastly, every region has its own spot called region-local content. This is actually open for the sellers to upload into, or it should be, but it does need to be approved by the EBP or someone in the content team. So the idea behind the local content spot is we know that we're early on in our journey and we've done a great job in getting the global content and helping sellers understand there's a lot of global content they didn't know about. But there is still a lot of locally created or locally owned and maintained content that they like to use. And so we've given them this local spot as a space to upload that. And that's where local specific content should be. If you're talking to someone in the marketing team and they've created something for the region, that goes in. So say it's come from the marketing team or even come from enablement, and it's for a product specific for South Africa, like Gatekeeper. That can go in the product and packaging spot. The product and packaging spot has got an official status. So it's come from marketing or is marketing approved, come from enablement and has our sign off to be shared externally. That can go in the product and packaging spot. And the local content spot is supposed to be a home for us to welcome and to collect existing assets that's been used, but acknowledges and kind of keeps it separate in the space that we can't go through and approve everything. Ideally, that would become smaller and smaller in what is in there. Having said that, currently we're not getting much traction in certain regions. And as we do a version 2 of the sales enablement spots, I expect more cooperation and more activity in those. And just to do a wrap up of what is restricted. So essentially, if it says the region's acronym, like the local content spot, the product and packaging with the region specific acronym, and the sales enablement spots with the region acronym, those 3 spots, you should not be sharing links that you're going to go outside of region. So product and packaging, always use the internal link from the parent file in the all regions spot. And for the sales enablement spot and the local content spot, those should be very region specific, so it makes sense to share a link to those. And then they should start to see the Sales Academy spot on there as well, and that's where we're building the LMS, so the learning management stuff is going in there, the e-learns, the first one being payment cert. You guys won't be uploading anything into there, but it's good to be aware of what that is.